When you are a backyard beekeeper with a smaller operation, oftentimes you just have your garage to store your stuff. And so I'm going to show you my setup, specifically how I store my frames. So wax moths have always been a problem for me, so I went out on Facebook Marketplace and found this freezer for 25 bucks. And it works, but I don't use it for anything but storing the frames, because it's got the seal on there so that it keeps the moths out. At least that's the hope. And then I've spent the last week having these frames cleaned out after the honey extraction. So I'm going to go through each of those and store them into the freezer. A consideration is you've had the frames out with the bees, just having them cleaned out, is there are other bugs that may get in there, specifically wax moths. And so I'm going to go through each of the frames individually, because I have to anyway to pile them into the freezer, but I'm going to be watching for wax moths. Then after I get them stored, I will throw in the moth ice crystals. I've used these for years. It works pretty well and haven't had a ton of problems. I have had some problems if I get negligent though. But I'm going to put those into the freezer with the frames anyway, just in case some moths can get in, or maybe I missed some that are on the frames that get put into there. I'm not sure. And that has worked pretty well for me. So let's get into it. A few minutes later, got everything stacked up in there. I put the deeps on this side underneath, the mediums over here. Oh, we got an earwig in there. Got him. So deeps over here, mediums over here. Put some mediums on top, and then what I'll do is I will close this up for the winter. Actually, whoops, I got to put in the ice crystals. So I use the moth ice crystals. You've seen others use this, and I'm not scientific about it. I'll put a few over here. You know, instructions say you're supposed to put there's not many left. Put it on a piece of paper or newspaper. I don't really worry about that. So I put a few chunks in here and let it ride for the winter. I can't believe we're already at winter, but that's how I store my frames. I might as well put the rest in there. And now we are ready for winter. I got my box. My box is all stacked up there. Wouldn't be too big of a pain to get into the freezer if I needed to, but I don't think I'll need to.